Welcome everyone to the Best Damn Podcast. I am your host, John Keene. As always, I would like to thank you guys for joining me. Ask that you please add, follow, and check us out, www.thebestdamnpodcast.tv. Follow me, Instagram at Best Damn Podcast, Twitter at The Real Best Damn, and wherever you're watching from, please make sure to hit that like, leave me a comment, let me know what you think, and share this link, get it out there, spread it far and wide. That way people can find us and people can see. And remember to subscribe, click that bell. That way you guys get all of the notifications. And keep in mind, guys, we are completely viewer powered. That means we're fully funded and supported by you, the listener and the viewer. So if you'd like to donate and support to the channel, you can do so by hitting the links in the description box below: PayPal, Venmo, Patreon, Cash App, and Facebook Messenger Pay. And if you're interested, you can book a tarot reading as well. You can text the number below or hit the email, therealbestdampodcast@gmail.com. Join us over on Patreon, YouTube channel memberships. Get access to our private content and our Dropbox with all of our uncensored shows, over 100 videos with hours and hours of just awesome entertainment for you. I appreciate all of you guys for joining me. I had to do a video today, and if you haven't followed me over on TikTok, check me out on TikTok too. I've been posting my tarot videos over on TikTok as well, daily love readings and stuff like that. So that's just kind of another little side reel. If you guys are interested, check that out. But you know, this came up, and this was something that I had to cover because, well, when my own mother is coming to me about things, it's like, okay, well, you know, I guess I'll talk about it, you know, which my family are definitely pro-Trumpers. But we know that Trump and the FBI raid, we're going to talk about that tonight. But we're also going to talk about that, you know, the semiconductor bill being put into law through Biden, that there has been some things taking place with China and Russia, and if you look at the climate and some of the near-Earth objects, there's a lot of things going on right now, so it kind of makes you wonder, you know, are we even seeing all of this simply for the reason of distraction, right? Like, we know that Trump is the biggest headline grabber there probably ever was as far as political power goes. I mean, honestly, you know, when you really think about it, people they're fucking diehard for the dude. I mean, he's been out of office for a couple of years, and, you know, we just see some of the, you know, the ridiculous shit that's happening with the Mar-a-Lago raid and all of that, and they're, you know, the whole toilet gate and everything that they're trying to push with this right now. It really makes a person start to think like, yo, what are they trying to get our attention off of, and why are they trying to focus our attention back on the orange man, you know? So I'm just saying, you know, I'm not saying, but I'm just saying. So thank you everybody for joining me. Make sure if you guys are in the chat, you hit that like, hit that thumbs up for me. I see, let me check the chat over here. See what we got in the house. Looks like Sarah C's. Everybody go check out Sarah C's YouTube channel, by the way. Sarah C is a wonderful YouTuber. She's super awesome. Stool Purger. Rachel, if you message me over on Discord, I do still owe you a tarot reading. Rachel actually did the spiritual profile. We did, you know, most of it yesterday, but I still owe her tarot reading, so I want to give her that. Up Your 73, Higher Mind 1111, Jordan Marshall from Canada in the house, Liquid Parallax, cool. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate all of you, man. No problem, Sarah. I do love your work. I mean, and that's really saying something, because like, I don't even watch YouTube anymore. It's gotten that fucking, you know, it's that much garbage on here now. Like, you never see anything that's real. You never see anything that's legit. There's never anything authentic or genuine. Nothing that even gets me excited, you know, when I turn on looking for new content creators. And I'm not dogging people, you know, but it's like the media is that watered down. And the narrative is that controlled. It's not a reflection of people and their creative ability. It's more of a reflection of the system and how oppressive it's became, just to keep it all the way real. So let's jump into this. I appreciate all of you guys. Like I said, make sure to hit that like, subscribe if you have not, share this link, leave a comment, and if you catch us on the flip side, make sure to hit the comment section. Let me know what you think about all of this, and consider donating, supporting, guys. I would greatly appreciate it. All right, it says Clinton-linked lawyer says Trump could be barred from re-election after FBI raid, cites U.S. code. The FBI executed a search warrant of Trump's Mar-a-Lago property, reportedly seeking classified documents he allegedly took from the White House. Mark Elias, a top lawyer for Hillary Clinton's 2016 presidential campaign, said Monday that former President Trump could be disqualified from making another run at the White House in 2024 following the FBI raid of his Florida residence. FBI agents executed a search warrant of Trump's Mar-a-Lago property on Monday, reportedly seeking classified documents he allegedly took from the White House when he left office in 2021. The search warrant was conducted in connection with the National Archives, according to a senior government official. This led Elias to cite U.S. Code Title 18, Section 2071 to highlight that Trump could be barred from seeking public office again as the former president continues to drop hints that he will soon announce his plans to seek a second term as commander-in-chief. Quote, the media is missing the really, really big reason why the raid today is a potential blockbuster in American politics, Elias wrote in a tweet. Elias pointed to the passage of U.S. Code Title 18, Section 2071 that states, whoever having the custody of any such record, proceeding, map, book, document, paper, or other thing, willfully and unlawfully conceals, removes, mutilates, obliterates, falsifies, or destroys the same, shall be fined under this title or imprisoned not more than 3 years or both, and shall forfeit his office and be disqualified from holding any office under the United States. However, legal challenges could make efforts to prevent Trump from running again under this code difficult, Elias noted in a follow-up tweet. Yes, I recognize the legal challenge that application of this law to a president would garner significant qualifications are set in Constitution, like the Constitution matters. I'm just saying, isn't it funny how the Constitution kicks in whenever it's convenient for a politically motivated agenda, but whenever our constitutional rights are being infringed upon, what's the Constitution got to do with it type shit, right? Like, I'm just saying. But the idea that a candidate would have to litigate this is, during a campaign, in my view, a blockbuster in American politics, he wrote. And notice the language, too. I just want to kind of get into this just for a second, because this is like, this is semantics and all of this. Whenever they're using certain language, guys, you got to look for the neuro-linguistic programming, which is a form of mind control. Just saying. The fact that he keeps using the phrase blockbuster, 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 it's letting you know this is theater. Okay, this is theater. And I talk about this even when we're looking at the global political agenda. We have to be extremely careful and not really feed our energy and dive our energy into this, because, even geopolitically on a global scale, it's just theater, and there is something that is orchestrated behind the scenes, and, you can call it the hidden hand, you can call it whatever you want, but there are powers, if you will, global bankers, shift the blame wherever you need to. Insert here, right? The person you don't like or the group you don't like, that already know, which direction the wind is going to blow tomorrow. Okay, and they set these kind of things up as kind of like a cat and mouse game. You know, they keep the attention of you chasing this shit, right? And you're just chasing your own tail day and night, the same way they do with the divide and conquer tactics, where they get us all to divide over our color, race, sexual orientation, political orientation, right? All of these things, right? Where they get us to go at each other's neck. That way we don't see who the real threat, who the real enemy is. They do the same thing with shit like this, right? And using the frame, or the phrase, the frame, I'm sure that wasn't an accident, I just used that word, but the phrase blockbuster lets you know that in itself it is theater. It says, yes, I recognize the legal challenge that application of this law to a president would garner since qualifications are set in Constitution. But the idea that a candidate would have to litigate this during a campaign is, in my view, a blockbuster in American politics. He wrote, the Presidential Records Act of 1978 requires presidential administrations to preserve certain documents. According to the National Archives, the presidential records in 15 boxes taken from Mar-a-Lago earlier this year include documents classified over national security concerns. You can see the picture of, baby hands right there. It says, the agency has called on the Department of Justice to probe whether the former president violated federal law in his handling of records because the National Archives and the Records Administration identified classified information in the boxes. NARA staff has been in communication with the Department of Justice. Then U.S. Archivist David Ferrero wrote in a letter to Congress. Trump released a statement Monday announcing the FBI's raid, and he slammed the federal government for search of his property. And let's see if we can pull up his statement. We'll get some quotes from it right here, though. It says, nothing like this has ever happened to a president of the United States before, Trump wrote. After working and cooperating with the relevant government agencies, this unannounced raid on my home was not necessary or appropriate. It is a prosecutorial misconduct, the weaponization of the justice system, and an attack by radical left Democrats who desperately don't want me to run for president in 2024, especially based on recent polls, and who will likewise do anything to stop Republicans and conservatives in the upcoming midterm elections. He continued, adding that such an assault could only take place in broken third world countries. And I think he's right with that. Just to keep it all the way real. And what is that statement actually saying? And see, and that's where people, when you don't, people talk mad shit about me. They're like, oh, you're always looking for something, John. You're a conspiracy theorist, right? You're always looking for something. It's like, well, if you don't read between the lines, you will fucking miss it, man. And when he's saying statements like, yo, this type of thing only happens in third world countries, he's absolutely correct. These type of things only happen in third world countries, so what does that tell you about the state of the United States of America? Like, that's a bigger reflection of the political state of our government as a whole than anything. And we have to understand that a lot of the heavy blows and the damage that we're seeing during the Biden administration was dealt out by Trump himself. And people can be as mad as they want at me, and I'm not taking either side. I don't believe in left or right, red or blue, none of it, okay? I think it's all bogus fucking bullshit, right? And that's just real. They're all on one team, all right? But I just want to state that, I pointed out the entire time during his election, those entire 4 years, I showed you. Every time he was making a move, what exactly the real repercussions of those things would entail. And we find ourselves here. And you know what? It was taking place way before Trump, during the Obama administration, during the Bush administration. And you know what? And it continues into the Biden administration because they're all playing for the same damn team. You feel me? And he was, in my opinion, the final kind of coup d'etat, if you will, to undermine the United States Constitution and collapse the United States government. And remember, prophetically, King Cyrus, who the Christian religion was so happy to connect him to, right, from the Bible. King Cyrus, who became the king of Babylon, who was the outsider who became the king of Babylon, who was minted on a gold coin. And you guys will remember every conspiracy Q-tard channel in the world had Trump gold coins for sale a couple years ago. This one didn't, but every other one did. All right. And in the 4th year of his reign, Babylon fell. And you'll remember there was a book written by Ingersoll Lockwood called 1900 or The Last President that talked about a storyline where King Don, right, King Don Trump, who lived on 5th Avenue in New York City, and Castle Trump, presided over a nation that was collapsing, and the sides were the anarchist versus the socialist, right? Talking about some predictive programming like you have never seen before. Okay? And then the biblical paradoxes that we've seen prophetically with the gold coin, and then the 30,000 troops occupying our nation's capital during the transition from Trump to Biden, right? And the National Guard, which was used because it circumvented posse comitatus, right? Which prevents the U.S. military from actually being used domestically against United States citizens. You know, we collapsed then, people. And I showed you guys, and I got the document on my computer right now. I should just pull it up just to smear it in your face a little bit. You know, for people that forgot. The Transition Integration Project of 2020, which was basically a crisis act, if you will, a dramatization of the 2020 electoral campaign and different scenarios that they were doing dry runs on. And they had 3 different scenarios on how the election was going to turn out, you know. And lo and behold, one of those 3 scenarios they ran is how it turned out. And 2 of the 3 scenarios, Biden won, right? And that all happened under Trump's watch. Just saying, right? Just saying. Trump is also alleged to have periodically flushed Oval Office documents down a toilet at the White House while he was still in office, according to a forthcoming book from the New York Times. Maggie Haberman, who obtained photographs allegedly showing wads of paper in a toilet. Well, you hear it now. I mean, wads of paper in a fucking toilet, that's the smoking gun we were all worried about, right? The smoking gun, we got it now. And I want to go over here too, real quick. I've got a few different articles on this. All right. And you can see this is already how they're painting this stuff. And we're going to go to what Biden was actually doing, you know, as the whole circus of the media was surrounding around Trump in just a second, you know, because that's where I think this really kind of all breaks down to, you know, just keeping it real. It says Republicans rush to Trump's defense after FBI executes search warrants at Mar-a-Lago. And you see here, it says the top congressional Republicans are rushing to former President Donald Trump's defense after the FBI executed a search warrant at his Mar-a-Lago resort in Florida as part of an investigation into the handling of potentially classified material. House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy told Attorney General Merrick Garland to preserve your documents and clear your calendar, warning of an oversight probe when Republicans take back the chamber in the midterm elections. The Department of Justice has reached an intolerable state of weaponized politicization, said McCarthy. House Republicans briefly discussed the FBI search during a conference call on Tuesday, multiple sources told CNN. Top Republicans made clear that they want to get answers and a full accounting from the Justice Department like they don't already know. The call had been previously scheduled in order to discuss the Inflation Reduction Act that's coming to the House floor on Friday. See, there's always a political agenda behind these large blockbuster deals that are taking place in politics here. See, previously scheduled in order to discuss the Inflation Reduction Act that's coming to the House floor Friday. But at the top of the call, McCarthy kicked things off, then turned over Republican Jim Jordan, the top Republican of the House Judiciary Committee, at Republican Mike Turner, and the top Republican of the House Intelligence Committee. They repeated their demands for accountability, but did not signal what their specific oversight plans will be if they win majority. And Trump is also set to meet Tuesday with about a dozen members of the House Republican Study Committee, led by Indiana Republican Jim Banks, at his residence in Bedminster, New Jersey, according to a person familiar with their plans, providing a timely opportunity for the former president to rally members to his side after the FBI search. And now let's go to Mr. Biden here. Right, remember him and Kamala Harris? They just had an executive order. I mean, there's just been a lot of shit that's been taking place politically, and they're major laws that infect. I don't know why I keep having these Freudian slips, but I swear they're probably legit. They don't just infect; they affect the country and the way that it's ran big time. So, Biden signed semiconductor bill into law, though Trump raid overshadows the event. President Biden on Tuesday heralded legislation that will pump more than $50 billion into research and manufacturing of semiconductor chips, which power everything from medical devices and cars to computers and weapon systems, as a once-in-a-generation investment in America itself. Today, America is delivering, and I honest to God believe that 50, 75, 100 years from now, people who will look back on this week, they'll know that we met this moment, Biden said ahead of signing the CHIPS and Science Act, short for Creating Helpful Incentives to Produce Semiconductors for America Act. The ceremony was attended by chief executives of Lockheed Martin, Intel, HP, Micron, and Advanced Micro Devices, along with union leaders and lawmakers. And, I just want to say that the executive order that him and Kamala Harris put into play, and all of this goes into the whole Build Back Better agenda. And if you remember any of the videos that we've done over the last couple of years, that is the 666 Green Deal, right? And we've talked about the occult and esoteric meanings of the green and the Build Back Better and 666. We're not going to get into all of that tonight. But I'm just saying, and they do it right under, the guise of, the big media storm around Trump. The legislation provides $10 billion to invest in regional technology hubs across the country, with a 25% investment tax credit for expenses for manufacturing of semiconductors and related equipment. It also authorizes roughly $100 billion in spending over 5 years on scientific research, including more than $80 billion for the National Science Foundation. This was a week intended to be full of victory laps as Biden emerged from his COVID isolation, just as Senate Democrats passed a signature climate, health care, and tax packages